Following the success of The Legend of Zelda and multiple platform games by Nintendo, they would switch gears and began development on a new kind of action game called Metroid. The style of gameplay in Metroid would pave the way for a future style of video game known as Metroidvania. It would be co-developed by Nintendo's Research and Development #1 studio and the development company Intelligent Systems. Both were well known for some of their earlier successful black box NES games. Metroid would be directed by an engineer known for his work on the successful Game & Watch and Game Boy handheld game consoles. It would be produced by a video game designer also known for the creation of the Game & Watch handheld system. He also invented the cross-shaped control pad famous on the NES controller, and he came up with the original design of the Game Boy. The main artist for Metroid was well known for his art behind multiple early NES games and would design the characters in Metroid. However, the character design for the main protagonist was designed by another artist who would go on to create the famous Mario nemesis, Wario. The music for Metroid was composed by a Japanese musician and sound designer who had a role in designing and programming the Famicom and Game Boy's audio hardware. He would describe the production of Metroid as a very free working environment, allowing him the freedom to give input on the game's graphics and different areas in the game instead of just solely working on the game's music. As for the music in the game, he wanted the player to feel like they were encountering a live organism, and accomplished this through the use of sound effects. Only time a melody is heard is when the final boss is defeated. The reason was he didn't want the soundtrack to include hummable pop tunes, something typically found in other video games of the time. Instead, he used inspiration from the Alien movie and used silence to create an isolated and give the player a feeling of solitude. As for the design of the main protagonist, one of the developers asked his team, "Hey, wouldn't that be kind of cool if it turned out that the person inside the suit was a woman?" They loved the idea and it would be incorporated into the game. However, the English language instruction manual would still use the words he instead of she to reference Samus. The main artist would say that Ridley Scott's 1979 horror film Alien would be a huge influence on Metroid after the game's world was created, and the development team would find the alien from the movie to be very fitting for Metroid's universe. Other unique things about Metroid was it was one of the first games to feature non-linear gameplay, sometimes forcing the player to retrace their steps to progress the game. Additionally, while most games provided only temporary boosts, Metroid would provide permanent upgrades such as the long beam and ice beam weapons, and bombs and high jump boots could be obtained and would be required to access new areas and other secrets. How much time it took to beat Metroid would be used by Nintendo to implement for the first time multiple endings. Metroid would have 5 total. In the 3rd, 4th, and 5th ending, Samus would appear without her suit and would be revealed for the first time as a woman to the player. Due to the different endings, players started speedrunning the game to see the different endings, with the best ending requiring less than 1 hour. The North American version of the game would use a password system instead of a battery, unlike the disc system in Japan that allowed for up to 3 different save games. It was released on August 6, 1986 in Japan and 1 year later in North America. And the European version would be released 6 months after the North America version. It has generally received positive reviews over the years and ranked number 11th in 2006 on Nintendo Power's Top 200 Games of All Time on a Nintendo video game console. To finish us off, here are some quick facts for your enjoyment. Metroid is one of the first games to feature a female protagonist. The name of Metroid is a combination of Metro and Android, and is referred to as a portmanteau, which means the blending of words. By entering the password Justin Bailey, Samus would start fully armed and not be wearing her spacesuit. The morph ball from the game was created because at the time, it was difficult to create a character crawling on all fours as opposed to a rolling ball. The end credits mention 3 restaurants close to the Research and Development No. 1 office. These restaurants would provide food to the team when they had to work late during the final months of development. Thanks for joining me on a brief history of Metroid. As always, make sure to subscribe, click the notification bell, and follow me on social media. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Rod here with Zivivi Entertainment. Before I get out of here, make sure to check out Digital Break for some awesome content creators. Digital Break is a 1-hour block on local TV that premiered in April. They are taking talented YouTube creators and airing their content on local TV. So make sure to follow and like their Facebook page. Thanks everyone, I'm out.